in the future, there's not going to be another Colonial Marines sequel.
Welcome back, Space Cadets, to Hal and Dave's Trip to Jupiter, where we play more Metroid Prime.
Yep, and we discover the hidden
bugs.
lore of Metroid.
And also hidden bugs.
Yes, but not those types of bugs.
In this case, the bugs are actual bugs and not errors in the programming, because I don't think there's any like noteworthy bugs in this game. Did I scan these guys?
I'm sure there might be exploits, but besides that...
You know, I once had a serious discussion with a close friend of mine about how on earth these eyeball creatures reproduce while being lodged in the wall.
Maybe they're like more of a wall. Like they're not actually just the eyeball. Like,
I assume that they put off spores, personally.
Like they spore produce?
Yeah, they spore produce, exactly. You know, if they have a gender, then the males like splooge out a cloud of sperm, and then this is getting weird.
Let's not talk about spore production.
Bugs, more bugs. And they are so easy to take care of with these Wii controls.
Yeah, they remind me of the creatures in Tremors.
You know,
the
I
graboids.
kind of see it. Yeah.
Like they just come from the ground. They have like little things.
Oh, look! They reach the edge of like their aggro zone when they dove back into the ground over there.
Aww. Yeah, you.
Yeah, little punks.
So when do you get the morph ball back, or?
I think we're about to get it back. So what's interesting about that hint system that we were looking at earlier is the hint system's kind of on a timer.
Really?
Where if you take too long to find your next objective, that's when they give it to you.
Huh.
Oh man, look at all this light that we don't need.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so if you actually know the game, like I do, we're going to get to the next objective well before they decide to tell us about it.
Alright.
Granted, there was not a lot of options where we could go to.
Fair.
So, oh look, more beetles. Also, it's really easy to just like random missile fire and splash damage all these guys.
You gotta take care of those Beetleborgs.
Big bad Beetleborgs.
Metallic!
So why did they have the Jay Leno Ghost Clown?
I have so many questions about that, actually. Because, here's the thing, like, even Power Rangers, I would say, is far from the source material with the teenagers and stuff.
The teenagers with attitude.
Because the original were, like, dinosaur warriors and shit.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Now, check this out. It's the Alpha.
Ay-yi-yi-yi!
Rangers, the Alpha Beetle is on a rampage.
The Alpha Beetleborg.
Yeah, it's charged me right away.
Okay.
Cheap shot, man.
But, anyway.
So it's, Plated Beetle.
Plated Beetle. Alright.
So this is basically like, here's how you dodge.
Ah, of course.
Yeah, because you actually have like a side jump.
So this is a tutorial boss.
It is, but you know, in the realm of tutorials, this game does it very tactfully. Yeah. Because this is definitely when gaming was starting to get a little more complicated, and there were a lot more buttons to deal with, and so the developers really felt pressured. Yeah, he's dead.
Fair. We killed the Beetle boss. So, the Jay Leno ghost, I have no idea, but I had like a, okay, to tell you the truth, I had like, when I was younger, I had like a secret Power Rangers fanfiction.
Yeah. They crossed over the Beetleborgs.
Yes, and VR Troopers and Masked Rider. Because I was that much aboard. I also put in Mystic Knights of Tir na nog just for shits and giggles.
Well, they were old Irish Power Rangers.
In all seriousness, they didn't have too much issue with putting them into the continuity.
Yeah.
Just because.
So we can get out of here using the morph ball now.
Anyway, so I explained like the Jay Leno ghost, whose name is Flabber, as the disgraced brother of Zordon.
You know, that's probably the best explanation I've ever heard for it.
Because think about it, like, you have this guy who grants kids powers hidden, and I'm like, yeah, he's just the disgraced brother of Flabber. And Zordon doesn't like to talk about him because he's just embarrassed by him.
He's that guy who shows up at family reunions and like, oh god, he's here.
Oh god.
We didn't even invite him, but he somehow found out.
Yeah, so Flabber to me is like the disgraced brother of Zordon. And that's how I was able to connect the Power Rangers and the Beetleborgs.
That's amazing.
It's dumb. I even put in like the lore from the Magna Defender in there and shit because oh god, I'm feeling like I'm 14 again. Again, this was like my secret Power Rangers
I mean,
fan.
playing this game makes me feel like I'm 14 again. So
That's true. That's fair. Nah, like it was an idea, and believe me, I'm gonna try and avoid talking about my Power Rangers fanfic ideas.
Yeah, well, let's see. That might have given us just enough time to get to the next thing.
My Power Ranger fanfic ideas? Okay.
Scarabs.
Scarabs.
Yeah, so now we have the Morph Ball, which lets us get under these tree roots and into tight spaces.
Awesome.
And so we move forwards. And there's actually a lot of stuff in this room that we can't really do anything about right now. Acid water.
Ooh.
I think, yeah, you can scan it. Toxicity levels critical. Contact with contaminated water extremely hazardous. Yes. And so that way you don't have to hurt yourself to find out about it.
Fair.
Not like old Metroid, and the warning goes up. That's something clever that I didn't fully appreciate the first time I played it.
Well, giving you like a heads up about like dangers you could run into.
Yeah, because there's so much information on the HUD. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to read.
Thank God they made.
Oh, these things. Scan.
Thank God they
Yes, we got it.
Oh, sweet.
Because these are Shriek Bats. They're the classic Metroid enemies that kamikaze into you.
They're just like, hey, run these dudes.
They are a very hard scan to get sometimes.
Yeah, but you're just like, I know how to do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready on a hair trigger to scan anything like this lovely Reaper Vine. It's got like an eyeball and a scythe blade and very sensitive to
So,
being shot.
what's the hardest thing to scan in this game, in your opinion?
You know, Shriek Bats rank pretty high because of how quickly they are to kamikaze into you.
Yeah?
But I'm not sure what else actually, because generally, like, I know where the scans are, and I know that you want to get bosses early and often.
Fair.
You know, so I've learned the ways of it because I played it so many times. But definitely, like, you get to later games where they have similar enemies, like the Shriek Bats or something, and those can be harder. You got to pay attention to when it's a new variety of enemy.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like those, oh, hey, Shriek Bats just chilling out up here. They're the easy ones to get. But sometimes, like, it'll be a new variety of enemy, like those Ram War Wasps that were different from regular War Wasps. And you gotta get those. Because I've done all 3 Metroid Prime games and got 100% items and scans. And I loved it because it unlocks these really cool art galleries.
Yeah.
And you see the concept art for the game and the different ideas they had. And, you know, sometimes it's like, oh, there was a different suit they could have used for Samus, or there was a different monster, or a different design for a cool monster.
That's neat.
Yeah, I love seeing that stuff.
So, when do you get, like, the ball shoulders back?
That is the Various suit. So technically, we're back at, like, Metroid 1 suit.
Yeah.
And so we're based on that design. And the Various suit provides protection against extreme environments, and that's a major power-up we got to get.
Fair.
Because we cannot enter the Magmore Caverns without it. Well, if we tried to, we'd die. But actually, I don't know that you can... Probably someone out there could correct me on this, but about sequence breaking. But I don't know if you can or cannot enter them without the Various suit at all. Because they kind of put the door right after a major boss.
Ah.
Yeah. Oh, so this place is neat. We have to go and find certain symbols in this room that we need to scan. Here. Yep. Major scans in this game have a red icon.
Yeah.
And then less important ones will have an orange icon, and then the faded icon is ones you've already scanned.
Alright.
So 4 runic symbols must be scanned. So let's see, there is another one. Flash damage says. Those mushrooms leave a poisonous cloud or something.
You're just like, I don't want to deal with you today.
Well, I find it interesting because I really want to understand the limits of Samus's power suit. Because it's like, why do mushroom spores pose a threat to your awesome high-tech Chozo battlesuit?
Look, you know,
the environment is
something?
weaponized.
Unfortunately, the drug birds did not appreciate the shrooms. They were like hard drugs all the time.
That's right, the drug birds. This is a thing.
Yes, I now unfortunately made this a thing. Sorry.
Dave has made this a thing.
Yes. We're gonna have
So we got 1, 2,
3, 4.
3,
So.
and I think The last one is actually right down there. Okay. It wasn't picking up where I was pointing the Wiimote for a second there. I pointed it too far off to the side.
You dork.
Yeah.
You dork. There.
Nah, man. Like, I point to, like, Metroid Prime 3 as a game that did motion control as well. So people who were like, man, the Wii sucked, or motion control sucked. Nah, you just gotta have it well implemented, and Metroid Prime did that well. No, I didn't scan this. Here we go. And I'm gonna be a contrarian about the whole Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword thing, because I actually really like that game.
Yeah.
And I think that it was one of the best implementations of motion controls, but it requires you to pay attention to how the motion controls work. Alright. Yeah. Disaster struck suddenly. We had a vague, dark foreboding, and it became truth. A meteor appeared from nowhere. It's interesting the way they're kind of setting up. So the idea that they establish, not to stop and read all the lore, but the idea that they establish is that this planet was great.
Yeah.
Until a meteor hit it, I think like 50 years ago. And that brought corruption with it. And so even with this game, they kind of establish what's going to come later. I mean, they probably didn't plan that far ahead.
The walleyes.
Oh yeah, so we just got the charge beam, and now we have walleyes. But hey, charge beam lets us do this. Die, walleyes.
Dull. Die, you don't belong in this world.
Now let's see. Scan visor is so useful because you can pick out little things in the wall like this.
Yeah.
Unidentifiable obstruction. Huh. Can't break it with a missile. Gotta morph ball bomb it later. So, I actually, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but hey, Internet, let us know your feelings on this. But I personally actually prefer the Metroid Prime series over the 2D Metroids. And a lot of it, I think, actually has to do with the scan visor, because I love being able to scan the environment to identify what things are, and identify, like, puzzle elements or pathways like that. Because Super Metroid, you had to use, like, the X-ray visor, or you had to, like, which involves stopping and scanning things, or you had to use the smart bombs. And it's really just... I felt stupid playing those games, because I felt like I didn't know where to find anything.
You know, I think it's just a matter of preference and what you were exposed to first.
That could be true, too.
In all seriousness, I do find, like, people love... I do find that there is a huge contingent of 3D Metroid purists at this point who feel like it was best when it was, like, Prime. One of the reasons some people had issues with Other M...
It's meant to be Mother, because Metroid Other M abbreviates as Mom.
Yeah, I know.
Because Japan. Because Japan may have invented Metroid, but they don't know how to handle their own series, apparently.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the whole thing with that game was that they were hoping to... The whole thing with that game is that they were hoping to recapture the feel of the 2D stuff. So, you know, I do think that 2D Metroid has a place, and I do feel like at this point handhelds are the best place for it. Major consoles, I think, do well with the 3D stuff.
I know it was kind of a deviation, but I actually really enjoyed Samus Returns. But my feelings is... So Metroid Prime was the first 3D Metroid.
Yeah.
I find that fascinating because Metroid Other M feels like the awkward middle child between 2D and 3D.
It feels like that should have been like on the N64, doesn't it?
That's what I've always been saying. Is that Metroid Prime feels like the polished, like perfected game design that should have come after Other M, not before.
Yeah, well,
it's like
it's
I don't
insane.
understand how that it's like backwards evolution.
Well, to be fair, like, how much did the original creator, Gunpei Yokoi, or
he was dead several years.
Sorry,
he died in
right.
a car accident.
Yeah, sorry.
And he died several years after Super Metroid, and before Metroid Prime was a twinkle in anyone's eyes.
Okay, I was thinking there's a major Metroid creator who had like a huge influence on Other M.
Yoshio
Sakamoto.
He's the director of the Metroid series in Japan, and let's see, did I scan all these powers?
How much was he involved in Prime?
Hardly at all, it sounds like.
Fair.
Oh yes, I need to scan that one. You gotta scan all your powers. Yeah, I think Yoshio Sakamoto didn't have much involvement in Prime, but he was all over Other M. Oh, by the way, this is a stone toad.
Yeah, because his whole thing
He's
was that.
impenetrable.
Yeah, because isn't the controls in Other M were based on like how many buttons was on like the Super NES compared to?
I mean, the game is played with a single Wiimote, not even with a nunchuck, so...
Oh god,
that's a thing.
That's awful.
I think it was... I mean, the gameplay actually was entertaining. The biggest issue that game ultimately has is definitely with its story and its attempt to characterize Samus. Because if Metroid Prime is canon, in that continuity, then Samus' characterization makes 0 sense. If it's not canon, then it only makes 10% sense.
It's like
Incinerator drone. So hey, it's a waste disposal robot going Maverick.
Oh god, man, they really downgraded the Mavericks in this game, didn't they?
Wait, have you ever seen the demo of a Mega Man X game made by the people who made
Maverick
Metroid
Hunter
Prime?
X, yes.
Yeah, but not the PSP game.
Yeah.
Oh, so these are also a unique War Wasp, by the way.
No, I've seen the demo. That game looks cool. I'm not sure.
The artist who designed Iron Man's armor for the movie supposedly did the X designs.
Oh god, I'm trying to remember. Andre Garbov, I believe his name is?
Whatever it was. It looked cool. It didn't look like Mega Man, but it looked really cool.
No, he actually did a couple... No, he worked on the Iron Man comic. He did the major... He did what I call, like, the most major Iron Man, modern Iron Man comic, which was Extremis.
Oh yeah, isn't that what Iron Man 3 is kind of based on?
A little bit.
Vaguely. Yeah, it seems to be the case with the MCU.
It's I would call hardly at all because the Extremis storyline is actually interesting. But...
Oh, so you don't like Iron Man 3?
I like parts of it. I do think that...
Okay, I let myself get set on fire.
You
Bad
know
times. It's just so hot in here.
No, my problem with that movie is I hate its twist.
A lot of people did, and because I'm not like super attached to like the Mandarin.
Oh,
or
no.
anything,
Oh no, I don't care. I don't care that much about the Mandarin. My problem with the twist, they literally made a twist where the most interesting, where they replaced something interesting with something boring.
You know, that's totally true. This is another one of those cases where my opinion on the movie was probably deeply informed by the circumstances under which I saw it.
Yeah.
Because it was a big like date that I had with my girlfriend at the time, so like I was just like super happy to be there with her.
That's fair.
That's all there was to it.
Dude, I had that same thing happen with the 5th Die Hard movie. I understand.
Yeah. So I think I probably like the movie way more than I should have as a result. So we just got the Morph Ball Bomb, by the way.
Ooh, awesome.
Which means we can do this.
Sweet.
And I like that they kind of like guide you there. They're like, oh, there's this little stream that goes this way. Hey, check it out.
Yeah.
And missile upgrade.
Sweet. But no, in all seriousness, the problem with Iron Man 3 is not the Mandarin twist at all. It's the fact that the villain they have set up is more interesting than the villain who shows up. If you do a twist, it should ultimately be more interesting than what you were setting up.
You mean Aldrich Killian?
Yeah. That guy's boring as sin. Even if you...
Oh, let me show you something interesting. So the Morph Ball Bomb, in the original version of this game, you had to use the Morph Ball Bomb to get out of here.
Okay.
You plant a bomb, it makes you jump.
Yeah.
The Wii controls brought over from Metroid Prime 3 added the ability to flick the Wiimote.
Oh, sweet.
Which actually makes bomb jumping way easier in this game. Because there are certain instances where in the original game you had to plant multiple bombs in time with each other so you could jump higher.
Yeah.
And in this version of the game, oh yeah, Stone Toad eats us, bomb.
Fair.
And he's dead.
But now, but finishing my previous statement, the big
Yeah.
problem with Iron Man 3 ultimately is that it's not the fact that the Mandarin is in or not. Killian's just not as interesting as Ben Kingsley's villain they were setting up.
Yeah, you know, I think you're completely right about that.
And that's ultimately...
You got a little time puzzle going on here.
And that's why you should do twists. Twists need to be more interesting than what you're setting up.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So...
This is a nice little bit, this timed puzzle here.
Yeah.
This game kind of... It reminds me a little bit of like Zelda-style puzzle solving. Which, you know, they had some very good 3D Zeldas to draw from at this point. Because the Wind Waker came out close to when Metroid Prime came out. So I guess they must have had Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask to look at. But definitely, just, they did a really good job on this game. And I still... find it hard to believe that
Like
this
I
was like
said.
Retro's first game.
Dude, I am like, I've been making jokes about it, but this is like a game you would think that you would make after like 15 years in the industry.
Yeah, this game is a 10 out of 10, man.
Like,
Alright, we open it. Well, I think Big Brother Nintendo definitely made sure that their beloved Metroid property was doing well.
well, I just like imagining them like the big Nintendo building, just whipping the building at Retro Studios into make it better.
Make it the better. You have no honor.
You want no honor? Make it better. Okay.
Actually, speaking about like Gunpei Yokoi,
Yeah.
so he was an engineer, and oh hey, check this out. We got something we can't deal with right now.
Ooh, ladder.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not even a ladder, it's a magnetic track.
Oh yeah, we don't have the magnetic ball thing.
The spider ball was like a weird power-up in Metroid 2, and they found a way to make it work in 3D.
Yeah, fair.
Which, they give lots of props to them for that. And we go here, energy tank. We need all the energy we can get.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's kind of like... So we're actually like inside of a furnace here. Let's look at this. Pretty cool textures too. The
Yeah.
like, sort of hot metal. Like
Yeah.
you can tell might have been on recently enough to keep it warm.
Yeah.
But there's nowhere else to go inside this room.
So
Because this is actually... There's a pathway above this that we can only access once we have that spider ball.
okay. Spider ball. Spider ball.
Does whatever a spider ball can. Bounces high, don't you know? Look out, here comes the spider ball.
I'm just now imagining like a morph ball whisking from ceiling on a ledge.
We're gonna have to work on that.
Yeah.
Work on that bit.
Yeah. We'll come up with the lyrics by the time we actually
I'm
get it.
actually like, since we've started talking about it, I'm actually seriously looking forwards to whenever Spider-Man on PS4 comes out and we get to
Genuinely,
Let's Play it.
I genuinely want to talk about that game in so much detail.
Oh, you're going to be the driver, and I'm just going to be there snarking the whole time and letting you have fun with it.
Let me tell you this. I can't wait to talk about Electro, Slurk, Scorpion, Mr. Negative. I want to see what they put into it, and I'm gonna see how much bullshit they put in from getting like the main costume.
Yeah.
And by main costume I mean his classic look.
Yeah.
Insomniac's making that, I believe, right?
Yeah.
All right.
The guys that had previously worked on like Resistance and Ratchet and Clank.
Insomniac, I appreciate you making a new look for Spider-Man, but it's not as good as the old one.
It's interesting because the black webbing definitely worked on the costume, but spider webs are kind of whitish, so I can see like why they would want to add some white into the costume. It's interesting. We'll see how it looks when it comes out.
Yeah, it's not the worst costume in
Okay,
Spider-Man's
so
history.
There. We have the morph ball bomb, so we can go back to the other room.
Awesome.
So that's what we're gonna do. Again, I'm pretty confident that we can 100% this game without too much like time out of the way, and then we can get the secret ending.
The secret
For as much story as this game has, there's not a lot of story, but secret ending does lay the foundation for things to come.
It is kind of shocked to see a Nintendo game with a sequel hook, though.
Yeah, it's interesting that they had that idea, because like Zelda, never wants to do that.
Zelda's just like...
Mario doesn't have a story as far as they're concerned. Mario is whatever they want it to be at the time.
Look, Mario is what I like to call Nintendo's tech demo.
Kind of, yeah.
I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm saying that that's kind of how they treat the character in how they treat his games. Often his games are used to test out new tech.
Yeah, and some clever ideas too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great Mario games we could definitely get to playing at some point.
Oh god.
So let's see if we
could
scan this metal structure. A sufficient blast will destroy it. Boom jam. More missiles. Now, I thought about it on the way into this room, and I realized that there's a magnetic rail in this room as well. So we'll come back here again, and it might have been more efficient to just not come here this first time. But hey, we did it.
Fair enough.
So we have more missiles for whatever's to come.
I am impressed by how much of an adventure game this is. Truly, like just.
Oh, hey, my eyeballs are back. I'm just gonna morph ball past them. Bye.
You only took 1 damage, so good for you.
Yeah, this game, and I don't know, Super Metroid was less forgiving, but even still, Metroid in general like, no single hit usually does that much damage to you. It's more of like a cumulative effect across your adventure.
Yeah, fair.
Unless you're fighting a boss, then it can be pretty brutal. But Metroid Prime in particular is pretty good about it.
Well, considering like
We even knocked up the difficulty because I think the way it's kind of set up on this collection is that what's called normal mode is actually kind of an easy mode.
oh, it's like the
Whereas
Devil May Cry
Veteran
shit.
is actually the normal difficulty from the original games.
It's like the Devil May Cry 3 bullshit.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's why I chose Veteran for this. We're playing on Veteran. And let's save one more time. I know, we keep coming back to the same save room. But, yeah, I think we got some good things done. We got some power-ups on this episode. So we hope you're having fun with this. I know I am. And tune in next time, Space Cadets, to
What
Hal
is-
and Dave's Trip to Jupiter.
What is that bulge in your pants?